Awesome. Labor Day weekend. Welcome back. Let's see what's on the docket for this week. Next week, we have a CE class here in this room on 1031 exchanges and that's hosted by Melissa Ormiston and Fidelity and Academy Mortgage. Josh, do you want to say anything about that?
Sure. So we originally looked at a class more specifically around investors and investor properties. So all of this one is, it's under the 1031 exchange sort of banner. It's definitely specific to your investor clients, and they're going to touch a lot on short-term rentals. So it's going to be, a lot of information on short-term type rental investment properties versus more your traditional long-term. So it's be some good information.
Interesting.
Awesome. So that's good. We should probably add that maybe to the details so people know that it's not just like your regular 1031. Right. Yeah. It's a little bit more advanced. And there is a link, I believe, from Fidelity directly. Is there?
Did we send it to you?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right, I'll follow up there again today on that.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. And then starting next week, right after this class, Cole, do you want to come tell everyone? So Austin was teaching his tech workshops on Wednesday afternoons, but we decided to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to do them right after this meeting.
Yeah, we figured because Wednesday, we got a lot of classes. A lot of you were burnt out by the time. So we figure while you guys are here after the meeting, 11 a.m., the first kind of class is just going to be really open forum. I want to hear what you guys want to learn about Command and just, I guess, tech things in general as well. But yeah, every Tuesday, hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, so we decided we're doing it 30 minutes instead of an hour, just right, like little nuggets of tech.
Yeah, and I'll stay till noon too. So we're not really pigeonholed to 11:30. We're trying to figure out if it's going to be in the front conference room or in the training room, but we will let you guys know when we've decided that.
Yeah, probably in here right after. Yeah. But cool.
Yeah, bring your questions and concerns.
Yes, starting next week. Just questions, no concerns.
No, concerns are.
I'm just
the
kidding.
concerns are the best
you
part.
You can bring all the concerns.
Yeah, concerns are the best part.
Broker bucks. We're still doing broker bucks. So if you refer an agent who's licensed to come meet with us, we'll give you $200 just for them coming in to meet with us. They don't have to join, but we're thanking you for your referral. So we're going to continue that on at the $200 price for another month. And then look at all these September birthdays, Carrie, right there. Happy birthday. Carly just had her birthday, Jack and Alex, and then Jared's is today, right? So lots of good September birthdays. Happy birthdays to all of you guys. And then let's get into it.
Let's jump in.
Right. So today might be a little bit of a shorter meeting than some, but we are going to talk about the AI for real estate agents playbook. So Keller Williams International has been putting out some different playbooks on things. Yeah, if you're in the room, there's a bunch printed out. And then if you're on Zoom, Cole will share his screen, but otherwise we'll pop it in maybe in the chat to download or in the Facebook group later. But you can also get it on KW Connect. But there's a number of these different playbooks. There's an open house one, a seminars one, but this one is all
like 80, right? No, there's
not of these. That's something else. But there's a handful of these, and it's kind of just like the play-by-play on how to do the things to get business. So we've talked a lot about AI. We had Eric Post and Rick Gray here, gosh, the week before last, and so we just wanted to kind of continue that conversation and really talk about putting it into action. So if you're looking at your AI playbook, let's go to page 3. Skip that page. Okay. So zoom in a little bit on that bottom part where it says right there. So Keller Williams interviewed different agents, and the most common uses of AI for real estate fell into three buckets. Drafting content, so newsletters, postcards, video scripts, ad copy, social media posts, all that. Crafting conversations, so conversation frameworks and handling objections, and then connecting AI to other tools. So setting up different like note-taking automation, things like that. So, but the most common is the drafting content, right? So let's dig into that a little bit more. So this page. So the 3 steps are picking your AI tool, which some of you guys probably are already using tools. So we can share that in a minute. Creating your prompt, and within creating your prompt, you want to identify the audience, set the tone and style, and use the proper formatting. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but the prompt can really impact your results, obviously, right?
Mhm.
And then review and improve, and that ongoing conversation with the AI is what gets it going. So pick your AI language. So the most talked about one is probably Chat GPT, right? A lot of people use Chat GPT. We are a partner of Whoosy AI, and that's who came in with Rick Gray. They have a paid version, but they also have a free version. So they really had some good explanations, and that's HUZI.ai. Pop that in the chat too. So they have a free version, and he really explained to us the security difference between like a Whoosy AI and a Chat GPT, and that your information is more, you know, you want to use something that has like more secure data. So, I'm not really articulating that very well, but Whoosy AI, there was, right, Cole, what else did you say about that?
So a lot
Add
of
to
what
that.
ChatGPT and what makes the AI a little different is that it's kind of more of a closed loop. And so ChatGPT and things like that are kind of open-ended in terms of the pulling from the web and things like that. So there is kind of a backdoor into the conversation that you have been having and things like that. But I think if I remember correctly, Eric said that what makes Squeeze different is that it's totally secure in the sense that there is no really open-endedness in the back end of it all. And yeah, it's apparently supposed to keep your.
Yes, yeah, right. It's not open-ended to the open internet. So anyway, so that's a great one, but you can use any of them. They essentially do the same thing. There's a couple others on here that I'm not familiar with, Bard or Claude. Anyone familiar with those in here? Do you guys use AI now? What do you use?
I just use ChatGPT and just the 3.5 version. I think I'm gonna upgrade today to the 4.
Okay.
Cause I'm ready to advance, I think. So I've been using it for job descriptions and employment ads and agent contracts and
So cool.
that kind of stuff. So just for text, it's really easy, but I'm ready to start like uploading and getting a little bit more.
I love that.
So
When you say more advanced, like what are you looking for?
well, I'm looking to like start uploading some things into it, so it can do, like right now I just have to type it. Type me out a job description for this, you know, and then I can say.
Oh, you want to give it something and have
I
it.
want to give it something, yeah.
Mhm.
And I also want to incorporate marketing stuff, so because I know that some of them will work with Canva, this one will not. So I'm looking for something to do some more stuff with marketing also.
Well,
Yeah,
it's amazing where we're going.
But
with
like
this.
I know that
it
you can,
is.
upload things from the RMLS that then will do comps for you, but you can't upload them to just regular effective. So I'm looking for something you kind of upload information to that will.
And the Whoosy AI, the paid version, is for real estate agents, and that's the really digging into some of those types of things. It was, I mean, it was really cool, and it was, I think it was like $2.99 a month or something. I mean, fairly reasonable for if you're going to be using it all the time. But yeah, what they can, you know, be able to do for CMAs and just different like photo scanning things. I mean, the where it's going is you can't just really sit back and say like, oh, I'm not techie, I'm not into AI,
Yeah,
right? So that's why we keep talking about it, because you know, you need to be aware of it and using it because everyone else is, right? So let's talk about picking.
I mean, how would you feel like,
yeah.
how would you feel if you're like, if all your competitors were using this at a high level and spending 5 minutes doing something that takes you 5 hours,
That's what,
right? Like, where would it leave you in your business?
Right.
It would leave you spending 5 hours on something that takes people 5 minutes.
Well, I'm writing a job description like an hour before. It's
Right.
Scratch. And it
Yeah.
was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a big difference, right?
I like Whoosy AI for writing descriptions because the cool thing is that you can actually choose what voice you want. for it to like have the description sound this. There's a who's the AI CEO voice, there's a CFO voice, the CMO voice. So if you're really trying to do like more marketing stuff, like you can actually specifically make it sound more like a chief marketing officer or like a chief executive officer. Things like
Interesting.
that.
I love that, right? They
So cool.
build in some of the prompt techniques that in other
Mhm.
ones you have to do. Yeah.
Well, like when I went to class and Karen was talking about and exactly that, using it, your post and then using it, putting it in there, making it for Instagram, emoji. And then LinkedIn, I did that with welcoming, and it was really good.
Right.
You know, because you want to speak differently when you're on LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'm usually just.
So true. And that's where like the prompting comes into play. Hold on, go one page further and then we're gonna come back to this one.
Mhm.
So up at the top, I just want to like, this is a good example of like, here's a bad prompt. Write me a postcard, right? And then a better one would be like, write me 3 to 4 sentences for a postcard about real estate. And then a great prompt integrates the audience, the tone and style, and the formatting. So you're just giving it the tool more information. So in this example, I am a real estate agent and want to write a postcard for my clients who have sold homes to, right? Like what voice do you want it in? If you're using a Whoosy or something like that, you can choose. If you're not, you need to say what voice, right? Like I am a director of operations writing this manual for, you know, I am this, I am that. Like what voice do you want that in? The tone and style. I want my postcard to be humorous and conversational, yet professional and lighthearted, right? That's a
It's a lot.
huh.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I want it to be in black and white and in color.
And then formatting, make it 3 to 4 sentences long. It should contain one interesting fact about residential real estate in Austin, Texas, and should have a call to action for them to call me on my cell phone number if they want to help. So that was just an example. So now go back one slide. So the 3 things you want to make sure to include in your prompt are your audience. So tell the AI exactly who you are speaking to or writing for so that it can tailor its response to that audience. So that's the audience and your voice. It's kind of like both parts of that one. And then the tone or the style is define the tone, which could be like formal or casual, and style, descriptive, lighthearted, persuasive, you want in the response, because you know you could ask the same question and get a lot of different responses. So you want it to feel genuine to you. That's the other thing about AI is if you're not giving it enough information to make it sound like it's your voice, then it's going to seem like a robot wrote all your stuff, right, for your clients. So especially if you're using it for emails and like actual correspondence and communications with other people. And then use proper formatting. So you want to tell it what format, but what length, right? Like, and some of this, if you do a really good prompt from the beginning, then you'll get really good results. But sometimes like you could do this and then say, can you make that a little longer? Can you make that a little shorter, right? Can you make it so you can do it from the beginning, or you can kind of do it as you go.
I think I would never write a listing description again. I would just edit. I would just plug in the things I wanted to hit, and then I would just edit it from there. I mean,
Yes.
I hated writing those when I was an agent.
Okay, wait, pro tip. Cal, read the pro tip at the bottom. Table one.
Many of the AI-driven systems of today are conversational. If you don't like a response that it provides, tell it to try again, ask another question, or ask the same question in another way.
Right. So if you don't like what you get, it's okay. It's a back and forth conversation.
Yep.
It's not just like that's the output.
Yep.
And it was interesting too. Those of you who went to the Whoosy training with Rick Gray, he talked a lot about how sometimes any of these chat or AI languages, as you continue going, if you ask it a lot of different questions, you get to the bottom and it eventually just gets confused, right? Because it has like information overload and it's kind of like going in the circle. So ChatGPT, I can't remember the funny geek term he called it, but like when you start getting like crazy answers, there's like a name for it. Do you remember what he said was that? Like when you start getting weird answers to things. Yeah. You start getting crazy answers, and it's because ChatGPT gets really confused. So he was saying, Whoosy, you'll still get to that because any AI, the information can only do so much, but when it gets to that, it will shut it down and tell you. And so it'll kind of like start over with searching the internet. So a lot going on in the back end. Okay, what else? So yeah, this one's kind of a lot of small information, but basically you're creating conversations with the AI. It's not just a one-time, one and done
Mhm.
prompt.
Mhm.
Okay, go to the next one. Oh, this one has a lot of info too. This has just some examples of prompts. And by looking at these examples, we don't have to like read through all these because you guys will all have a copy of this. And this is on page 9, but it's just examples of how to improve your prompting, right? Because that's a skill. So for a newsletter, social media, just identifying your voice, the tone, and then what formatting you want. For listing descriptions, for video scripts. So just some good examples here. Carrie shared a couple other examples of how she's using it. Is anyone using AI in any other ways that they want to share other than like, yeah, that's
I
it.
just started using it for Instagram posts.
Cool.
I have made 3 so far.
With like what to say in the
Yeah,
post.
like I'll give it, try to give
Mhm.
it a prompt, if I don't like it, I'll do it again.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Our listing coordinators are using them for our luxury flyers too, like to do the description.
Yeah.
They find themselves kind of right in the same thing.
Yeah.
So they
I love that, right? Like look, you can use the
Yeah, I
luxury
think
voice.
I think that's important. I mean, because like listing, like when you're writing a listing description, like we as agents just like are just plugging in, just trying to get through it because we write them so often. But like people are reading those, and it's important that it doesn't come across as just cliche because they all sound the same. Like fantastic, 3-bedroom. What about I know you have to like you need to come up with something original and like that's fresh. I think for your clients at
Yeah.
minimum.
Right. And using AI as a real leverage tool so that you can focus on the more
Yeah.
human connections.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's where you really like, do you have to have AI write your listings? No, but like, what
Why
could you
wouldn't
be
you?
doing with
Yeah.
your time
Yeah.
if you weren't? And so that's why this playbook, we like it because it's very basic, right? Like some people, like the whole AI can be overwhelming, right? But just start playing around with it. Just start using it. No matter which language you use. And I mean, Carrie, you're a great example of how to use it, right? In different ways. But the prompting is a skill. So if you go back and refer to these later, there's some just good at prompt ideas. Some for conversations and some for objection handling for those of you that make calls. So you can also connect AI to other tools. I haven't done this, but I just saw a video on connecting it to Excel for like all your spreadsheets and saying like, can you make me this spreadsheet that does
Yeah,
this and that?
that's
And I mean, so
fantastic.
there's a lot of really cool things you can do.
Like with
Have you guys all seen, oh yeah, Zapier, have you guys seen on a Zoom now? Sometimes people after the call, it'll say like, oh, the AI took notes of the call, like here's your notes,
Mhm.
right? So, I mean, just tying it in now with these different like applications. Canva has its own kind of like built-in AI, like a lot of these different applications that we're using are gonna start to have the plugins.
Mhm.
What is Zapier?
It's a parser, so it lets different programs talk to each other. So it translates computer language essentially, I think.
I
That's
know,
how
I
it
feel like we've
works.
talked about it before,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yep.
Oh, have the Zap take OpenAI's generated response and then put it into a Google review. Yep, so that's an
Mhm.
example
Yeah.
of taking the data that you get from AI and then putting it into another source. So that's level
probably
two.
that's probably gonna be like the biggest use of it. I mean, when people start like taking it from one source to another and like converting it and having someone do that all for like having AI do that all for you, there's like a lot of potential and where that could go,
Yeah.
I think.
Totally. There's a couple other examples on here of how they're using Zapier to auto-publish posts on your calendar, different things like
Mhm.
that. So there's a lot of different things, but overall, oh, that's a good Gary Keller quote. Change is inevitable. Participation is optional, right? Like
Very true.
that's a good one, right? So don't be intimidated. Let AI work for you. And remember the keys to your prompts are identify your audience, set your tone and style, and tell it what formatting you want to use.
Love it.
Anyone have any questions about AI or the playbook or any other things to share about how they're using it.
Does anybody know any AI that connects with Canva?
There's one built in to it.
The magic writer,
The one?
magic writer, on Canva. I'm using it a few times.
Yeah.
You can, yeah.
And tell everyone how you get to it or like what you do.
I have to see.
Okay. But it's built into Canva and it helps you write things, right? So it already kind of has a plugin.
Does it help with like images and things or just text?
I've only used it for text. I haven't tried with images. I saw someone using it on an Instagram video actually, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go try it. So I will use words.
Mhm. But yeah, there's a lot of other programs for the graphics, but I wonder if the Canva one
Yeah.
can do that. So that's something to kind of take away. But yeah, it's almost like all these different tools that we already use now, like Zoom and Canva, and everything, starting to have the AI built in. So that's a good example.
Cool.
Anyone tried the spreadsheet once? I'm really into the spreadsheet
Mhm.
ones. Like all the spreadsheets we can make. And then I can't remember the name of is Austin on by chance?
No.
I can't remember the name of the photo one. Do you use the photo one?
No.
Yeah. Well, remember when Austin taught us one of these meetings and he said like, show me a dog wearing a beret or something that like made a
I
image of
think it was Dolly.
Dolly. Okay.
I haven't done any of those, but I've also used it to help write formulas in like Excel and Airtable.
Okay.
Like write me a formula that will take
Oh.
these things and all of a sudden it goes, you know, it's.
Yeah.
Even the equals and all those things.
Oh, cool.
So it helps write formulas for.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's cool.
The world.
Mhm.
I know one of my kids was writing something the other day and he was like, hey Google, how do you spell future? And he was like, right. And I was like, oh, that's so funny that like they just ask Google forever, like they get stuck on anything. They just like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just
Mhm.
ingrained in them.
Instinctually ask.
Right. So like you think like we'll just get used to asking AI for
Mhm.
help on everything.
Mhm.
And last meeting, Dwight compared it to the internet when the internet was invented. That was funny, but probably true.
Yeah.
Right. Like the impact people are, it's something that is impactful enough that people are scared of it at first, but it can really, really revolutionize things. So, short meeting today, short and sweet. Take home your playbook and Cole will post it online too. But otherwise, that is a wrap for today. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thanks. Carrie, it was good to see you. Sorry, this was the shortest